co-creating a new reality
We
together.
thank you for this co-creation, which also gives us pleasure.
Excuse me. What I'd like to ask today is I've been working on my core beliefs and getting in touch with a lot of beliefs that, quite frankly, I didn't even know were buried in there. It's
Oh, all right. Well, congratulations on your discovery.
very exciting.
Yes.
And
As we have said, excitement, in a sense, is one of the things that will actually allow you, because it is a complete kit, organizing principle, and driving engine. If you act on your excitement, it will allow these things to come up, the things that are hidden, the things you have suppressed, the things you don't know about in your unconscious mind. It will allow them to bubble to the surface so that they can be dealt with, so that they can be integrated. So congratulations on allowing the idea of acting on your excitement to help you discover these things within you that can thus then expand your understanding of who and what you are.
Thank you. I find that it's been accelerating quite quickly, actually. And that's one of my questions, is my joy and my passion has been for quite some time is forming that third world, that third reality where we can interact freely together.
Yes, yeah.
And working on in my meditations, and lately when I do the meditation, I've been working with the Ascension, Sirius, Earth triad connection.
Yes.
And I've been having some great results with it, but one of the things that I've been experiencing is I feel like I'm going up into the light, expanding, and then I start feeling very, very sick, have to come out of the meditation.
Yes.
And these beliefs are coming up. I'm getting beliefs coming up, so I'm not sure if I have some belief about what I'm actually doing, or
No. What you are experiencing, as we said, is that the excitement is lifting you up to a certain level of vibration where you're becoming more sensitive to the fact that you may have beliefs and vibrations within you that are out of alignment. And thus then you go back and you deal with them and integrate them so that you can then go higher. So that's simply your self-governing mechanism. As you become more heightened and more sensitive to those things, in a sense, they will feel more disorienting. They will feel more unlike you. They don't have to, but they can make you, in a sense, feel nauseous because you recognize more clearly that they are really not part of the vibration of your preference. So you must then, when you discover that, when you have that experience, deal with them. But that's all that's happening, is you're becoming more and more sensitive to the beliefs and the vibrations that are corresponding to those beliefs. You're becoming more sensitive to vibrations that are out of alignment with your true self as you heighten your frequency. Make sense?
It does make sense. So as I work through these and change the definitions of the beliefs that I have, this feeling, this nauseous feeling, will go away.
Yes.
Okay.
As you integrate them, there will no longer be an out of alignment frequency, and thus as you come into alignment, that will transform that experience, that sensation.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, we are very excited that you are there.
Thank you. My question is, what is the best way to really get to the bottom of my negative belief, why my manifestation is not coming into fruition?
I believe we have just discussed all of that.
Is there a question I can ask myself? Is there a state I can put myself in?
Question. What would I have to believe is true about myself and my relationship to this situation in order to be experiencing the emotion that I am, in order to be experiencing the fear that I have? What would I have to believe is true?
What would I have to believe is true?
Yes. Anytime you give yourself the opportunity to examine what your relationship actually is to the circumstance and situation and people in your life, and ask yourself the question in that way, and then be quiet and listen, you will eventually get an answer as to what the belief is that you would have to believe is true in order to be having the experience you are having.
Okay.
You see?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Absolutely. May I ask one more question regarding what you were discussing?
Yes.
You were talking about step 1, intention, focus, concentration.
Yes.
After that, absolutely letting go and
Yes.
surrender.
Yes.
And where does the action that you talk about come in? Is that step 3?
The idea is behaving as if. This, in that sense, goes hand in hand to some degree with surrender, because if you know for a fact that what you have focused on, what your passion represents, is your true reality, then from that moment forward in your surrender, you simply behave as if it is already real. You don't question it. You don't second guess it. You stay in the state of being that says, this is who I really am. This is really my reality. Now, do you understand?
Yes.
This doesn't mean that you contradict other beliefs you may still be holding on to. If you have contradictory beliefs, you have to go through the process of finding out what those are and clearing them out by integrating them. But if you understand truly that what you focused on is really representative of your highest passion, and then let it go, letting go still means you take the actions that, in a sense, demonstrate to your higher self, that show through behavior your higher self that you actually know it is doing its job, and that you can behave as if that reality is already real. And that's where the action comes in, to allow the invisible to become visible. Because as we said, you have to be, in thought, word, and deed, the vibration of that reality, or you won't be able to perceive it.
Got it.
Make sense?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings, Bashar.
And a you good day.
My question is, in this whole presentation, you've been referring to the negative and the positive belief, but particularly the negative, almost as a self-aware entity. In the sense that it has an intelligence, it has a bag of tricks, it has an intention, it has.
Yes.
So, what could you expand on that a little bit?
It's your intelligence that it's using. In a sense, it's usurping your intelligence and framing it in a manner that makes it seem like an autonomous entity. That's the nature of its structure. It seems as if you are actually, in a sense, arguing with a true intelligence, when all it's doing is, in a sense, framing your own intelligence to reflect back to you in a particular way. So in a sense, you're arguing with yourself.
I see.
Does that answer the question?
It does, and I'd like to continue.
Yes.
So the belief itself doesn't have, because, for example, in many mystical traditions, you'll hear about entities that feed on your psychic energy, right?
Yes,
So that's not, is that the same kind of idea?
No.
Okay. So it's not like the belief, you're saying that the belief itself wants you to believe in it, wants to, why does it?
No. The belief is simply taking the form that it takes based on the strongest belief you are buying into, and so in a sense all you're doing is forming your intelligence in a frame of reference that is used to convince yourself of what you say you're buying into. It's simply a mirror, that's all it is. You have simply made the mirror in a form that reflects back to you what you are most strongly buying into, therefore revealing to yourself what the strongest belief is that you actually have.
So in a sense, it could actually be a really great tool.
Oh, absolutely. It is.
It is a great
if
tool.
you use it that way, which is what we are talking about, is how to use it as a tool instead of simply believing that it is something you have to succumb to and have no choice but to recreate.
I see. Okay.
Makes sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
How do I use this to, we talked about positive beliefs and negative beliefs. How
Yes.
about limiting core beliefs that are fundamentally neutral? For example,
Name a neutral core belief.
gravity.
Yes.
It doesn't really make me feel positive or negative. It's just there that
Yes.
creates my experience.
It's part of your collective agreement. Yes. And so, what are you asking?
Can I alter that?
It is possible, but you have to examine the degree of probability as to whether or not it's relevant in your life.
But there is just example. For example, there's certain other limiting beliefs that I
Yes,
would love
but
to.
the same criteria still goes. Anything is possible. It is even possible to change the idea of a core agreement with a collective consciousness. However, the criteria is it relevant to the theme you chose to explore? Is it probable within that theme? Most of those things are not. And many times people on your planet go looking to change certain things they actually don't need to change. And one of the reasons they go looking to change those things is because they've actually bought into a negative belief that says that if they don't change that thing, then they're not actually doing what it is they actually prefer to do. So you have to recognize that what may appear to be a neutral belief may not actually be a neutral belief. It may be a negative belief disguising itself as a neutral idea.
For me, it was more about I have the abilities, certain abilities, but I
Yes.
cannot fully use them because
Yes.
of the.
But
limiting
many of these
belief.
things will come naturally as you simply act on your highest joy, because your highest excitement is the highest vibration you can express in your physical reality. Therefore, the highest vibration you can express in your physical reality will allow whatever malleability, whatever flexibility, whatever changes need to happen to have the greatest probable potential of happening. So all you have to do is act to the best of your ability purely on your highest joy to gain the ability to do all the things that you are, in a sense, referring to. You don't necessarily always have to specifically target those things as if they are representative of a higher plane of spirituality in your attempt to do them. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Many times, before we go on, many times, the way in which certain so-called spiritual tenets are taught on your planet actually have many negative beliefs attached to them. So the idea, for example, that moving away from the physical world is a more spiritual thing to do might work for some people, but that does not mean it's a generally true thing for everyone. And sometimes one of the most spiritual things you can do is really get a full handle on living your physical life to the fullest. This is why the Zen monks say that if you want true enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. If you do those acts purely in the moment, just those simple physical things done purely, living in the moment, without care, concern, without removing yourself from the present, will actually be acts of great spirituality. Never assume that physical reality is less spiritual than non-physical reality. It isn't. Doing it well is a spiritual act. Do continue.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
Yes. Can I ask something?
Speak up so that all may hear you. Louder.
I'm Japanese.
Yes.
And I did the individual personal session about 15 years ago in Japan.
Yes.
Do you remember me?
We understand your energy. What do you wish to ask?
I'm just.
Remember that you are not the same person. We are not the same person. This is a new reality. Memory is created in the present. All we need to know of you, we know of you now.
Oh, this
We do
is.
not need to remember who you were
This
to know
means-
who you are. All right?
Yeah. I'm now housewife.
Yes.
And I cannot decide what I don't know what I'm going. I
You don't
really
know
want
what
to.
excites you.
Just sorry. Yeah. The
Waku waku, ne?
Yeah. Yeah. And how can I decide?
All right.
This is
Thank you.
good.
Thank you. Arigatou gozaimashita. Understand, once again, when we talk about acting on your excitement, finding your excitement, All you have to do to start that process is keep it simple. Keep it simple. Every day, there are options that you can choose from. Yes? Of things to do. Yes? Yes?
Yes.
There are many options you have every day. All you have to do every day is look at what the options are that you can choose to do, that you can choose to act on, and just choose the one that's most exciting. Acting on your excitement doesn't mean it has to be the most exciting thing you will ever do in your life. It just means, what's the most exciting thing you can do right now out of the things you are able to act on? So if you wake up in the morning and you say, all right, I am very excited about staying in bed. I am very excited about getting out of bed. I am very excited about going shopping, or I'm very excited about talking to a friend, or whatever it is, whatever the options are. I can do this today, I can do this today, I can do this today. Which one is more exciting? All you have to do at that moment is act on the one for that moment that's most exciting without any assumption that it's going to lead to anything specific. Just act on it to the best of your ability. Take it as far as you can. When you have taken it as far as you can, in that next moment, you will look and say, all right, what are the next options I have? Which one of those options is most exciting to me at this moment? When you decide which one is most exciting, act on that one. Do that as far as you can. That's all you have to do, step by step, little bit at a time, to allow your excitement to build and expand into bigger and bigger opportunities for bigger and bigger excitement. So that's one way you can do it. You can start small, just by picking whatever is immediately exciting. For example, you had many options available to you today of things you could do. You chose to come to this seminar, yes? Did you choose to come because it was exciting? Yes?
Yes.
Well, then, you see, you're already doing it. You're already choosing your excitement. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be a big project or a big career idea. It can simply be one choice that you make that is the most exciting choice you can make at that moment out of all the choices that are available. That's how you begin. わかりますか?
はい、はい、わかります。
Does that help you?
Yes, but I cannot continue the very exciting things.
Yes, you
Because-
can. I just told you how. I just told you how. Listen again. All you have to do is simply choose whatever excites you at the moment and take it as far as you can. You don't have to expect that it will continue in that direction. When it does not continue, look around for the next thing that excites you and act on that. When that does not continue, look around for the next thing that excites you and act on that. Following the excitement is what's important, not the assumption that that thing must continue. That's a negative assumption. Do you understand?
Yes,
Does that help you?
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and how do you combine genuine service to others with our unchangeable motivational mechanism, i.e., the mechanism that says we will always do things that are move towards what's good for us and away from the things we perceive as being not good for us?
All right, well, that is not worded correctly. The motivational mechanism doesn't make you move toward things that are good for you. It makes you move toward things you believe are good for you. Big difference. Big difference. Belief is the key. So you may not move toward things that are good for you because you have a belief that the alternative is worse. So pay attention to the idea of how the motivational mechanism actually works. It doesn't make you move toward things that are good for you. It makes you move toward things you believe are good for you, which may not be the case. So you have to have real honesty within yourself about why you are choosing what you're choosing and whether you're really choosing it out of anxiety or excitement and covering up the anxiety with what seems to be excitement so you don't have to look at the anxiety, so that you don't have to face the idea that you may be holding on to a belief that choosing what is actually good for you would actually make something happen that is worse than what you're choosing now, even though it may not necessarily be in your best interest. So be clear in your understanding of how the motivational mechanism actually functions.
And so this person is mentioning that they think they understand the formula, but one part of it is still unclear. And that is, how does the formula tie in with good habits, discipline, and on a larger scale, routines, structures, jobs? Does following one's excitement mean disregarding all structures and routines? Is the formula inherently spontaneous and impulsive?
No. As I say, the formula contains the organizing principle of synchronicity. The organizing principle, that phrase alone implies structure. But it's the structure that works for you. It's the structure that allows you to flow. It's a structure, paradoxically, that allows for spontaneity. But it is still a pattern. It's still a structure. But it feels less like a structure because you're flowing within a structure that's natural for you. So you don't feel the resistances that often come with the artificial structures you impose on yourselves that are not natural for who you are. That's why it doesn't feel like a structure, because it's the structure that fits you.
Okay, thank you. And how do I find the purpose of my life? How do I find my excitement?
As I said, you can start small. The fact that you're asking that question is a representation that you have found your excitement for that moment, because obviously it was more exciting than any other choice to ask that question. So you can do the same thing in the next moment. What's the next thing that has a little bit more excitement, curiosity, attractiveness than any other choice? Start simply. Keep it simple. Again, when we talk about finding your passion and your excitement, we don't mean that you have to be jumping up and down and running around like crazy. It doesn't mean it has to come with trumpets and angels singing. It means, what's the next thing I have the ability to act on that has more attractiveness than any other choice? That's simple. Taking a walk, reading a book, eating a meal, talking to a friend, creating something, whatever it is, asking a question of someone like you just did, whatever it is that has more attractiveness, that feels like the next thing you really, really feel like doing, do it. And keep doing that. It will build, it will snowball into other expressions of your excitement, as long as you keep checking yourself to make sure that you're actually acting on excitement and not acting on anxiety disguised as excitement.
And this idea of the end justifying the means, and that would be that it seems like the higher mind has an attitude of the ends justify the means. So for people with especially hard themes, that includes a total forgetting of any spiritual truths. What are your thoughts on this?
It's not that the higher mind has an end justifies the means position. That's a human interpretation. The idea is the soul understands what it's going to get out of the experience and is doing its job of guiding the physical mind within it in such a way as to send it the guidance it needs in order for the physical mind to have an experience that allows it to face challenges that are beneficial to it, to allow it to expand, to allow it to grow, to allow it to have a fulfilling and joyful life experience. The only reason it appears as if the end justifies the means is because of the perspective of the physical mind that is harboring and holding on to belief systems that are out of alignment with its core frequency. So, the idea that it seems too hard to bear, as we discussed already, comes from the linear perspective, not from the soul perspective. The soul is doing its best to send you messages of passion, but the physical mind has the ability and the free will to ignore it. And it is in ignoring that guidance from the soul that the physical mind then says, oh, this looks like the end justifies the means because I am being subjected to these horrible, torturous experiences, instead of allowing yourself to understand what we have shared with you about the formula that allows you to remain in a positive state no matter what happens, so you can always get a benefit from it. That's why that step is in there, so that you can understand how this works, so that you can experience a life of challenge in a positive way that allows you to expand and experience the benefits of facing those challenges, rather than feeling overwhelmed or feeling that the soul is somehow torturing you by putting you in a situation that's too much for you. It's not. You're putting yourself in the situation that makes it appear to be too much for you by not following the formula, by not opening up to the idea that challenges can be positive, by not feeling worthy, by forgetting who you are. That's what the soul may have chosen to start with, but it has always given you the opportunity to pay attention to what you can actually use to go through the experience from beginning to end that actually will help you learn and grow and experience a life of fulfillment and joy.